Welcome back to G Brands, brought to you by Harvey Norman. Harvey Norman has a huge range of next-gen AI PCs from the world's top brands, Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer, Asus, and all powered by Snapdragon. I'm Andy Rowe, and with me in London is All Blacks legend Justin Marshall. Wallabies winner Jeremy Paul will be joining us shortly from Sydney. And to cheer up our New Zealand and Australian listeners, we've brought in Wales and Lions hardman Andy Powell so we can all have a laugh at Welsh rugby.
Hard
You guys
man.
won the World Cup on the weekend, didn't you?
Oh, mate, hey, you have to enjoy a win. 2 years haven't won at home, and you could see, players' faces. They were happy, and they should be happy. But let's be honest, it's not great Welsh rugby, is it?
What was Powelly like in Cardiff on Saturday night?
Mate, I'm banned from going to Cardiff for internationals now. I don't think I'm safe around there. No, but it would have been good to be there, though. It's it's a win. But hey, you have to enjoy it.
Hey, how are you though, pal? I haven't seen you in a while. You good?
Yeah, mate, I'm right. Bit of a heavy weekend, so I'm a bit.
What, as opposed to any other weekend, or?
I've been quite good recently, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I just had to enjoy this from Marshy, yeah.
Oh, how good.
Marshy, let's just start. What happened? What happened at Twickenham, mate?
Yeah, look, to be perfectly honest, it wasn't what I was expecting. Even given our fluctuations at the moment, I just thought that the All Black side, I did question a couple of the selections. I wasn't convinced that we should have moved Lester Fainganuku out of the centre. I think I would have looked at probably bringing Rico on the wing and defensively, because they're a little bit worried about the aerial game, but they're happy for Lester to play on the wing. Well, defensively, when we were setting up, just switch them, because it switched Rico from the wing on defence because he's used to defending at centre, and then you've got Lester being able to combat the aerial game. So you wouldn't have really suffered in that regard, and it would have taken care of that problem that they have about Rico with his aerial skills on the wing. So you could have just been smart. And then Wallace Satiti with his ball skills and the way that he played, I wasn't convinced that our shape would be better for having Simon Parker in there.
Why did they make that change?
I don't know. I think they got this in their head that they needed big men, to combat the way that England
This
played.
goes back to this. I know you've brought it up before, Marshy, but it goes back to this bit that is getting quite frustrating as an All Blacks fan, where we're picking teams to combat other sides, right?
Yeah.
Rather than picking a team to play to our strengths and
That's
go,
right.
well, fuck it, you guys try and beat us.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
And that's what they've been New Zealand are good at.
Yeah.
You don't need to pick big men, just use your players who do the
Yeah.
best on the pitch.
Yeah, and I saw Satiti in Scotland, playing in that sort of second to third last receiver in the outside channels. Like he was instrumental in setting up the try to Will Jordan. Just his ball skills and the way that he played just gave us real good balance, and the synergy between him, Larkai and Savia was really good. Anyway, look, those were two selections I wasn't 100% convinced that we were doing the right thing, but when I still looked at the team on paper, I thought it was a strong enough team to win. So I'm not hopefully contradicting myself too much, but I just feel that, unfortunately, the things that have been hurting the All Blacks in the past and looked like they'd been resolved came back to haunt us, which was, discipline, because yellow cards. When we get yellow cards, we're leaking points. Happened against Scotland, happened against England, has happened in the past. And then we go into a real hole of not being able to get back into our rhythm. And good teams, and I think I've said this before, good teams will hurt you and put you away. Whereas other teams that aren't so good, you'll manage to dig your way out of it. But I think England are a good side.
There was 2 moments in that game where they missed touch.
Yep.
And they were clinical boys.
Yep,
because
they
if they had taken that, I think that could have been a different turn in that game.
Yeah.
You felt like it at the ground too. You're just like, oh, we've got our foot on their throat at the moment.
Yeah.
That is not what we needed.
No. So, look, I think, and the problem is, but pretty much like Wellington with South Africa, we somehow, when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong quick.
Yeah, what's happening? Like, why?
It's not like they did show some resolve. Will Jordan's try, right? We're back in this, but then England just again started dictating after that. But like in Wellington, when it spirals, it's quite a few points. Ultimately 33-19, we're well beaten. So that'll be a real worry. And the other thing, Powelly, it'd be interesting to hear your point of view. Because you spend a lot of time on the bench. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Oh, really?
Marshy.
I don't mind that.
Don't ask him
I
about
like
the
having a
99
crack
World
at the
Cup.
Welsh, don't worry, mate. You know, the whole 6-2 split, you know, I don't know if you experienced that being, you know, going with 6 forwards on the bench and only 2 backs, but we just don't want to do it. And I've banged this drum. It's like, fuck's sake, why do we not want to be innovative and go, righto, we're going to go 6-2 or 7-1. Because I think when England with their Palm squad did what they did, the game dynamic changed. They got real energy out of that.
Yeah.
Whereas we still dribs and drabs put players on. You know, they injected 5, I think it was, into the game in one foul swoop, and their energy levels went up. You know, and that was the intent right from the start, and we knew that early in the week because he named his team early.
So was it Pollock,
Yeah,
Curry,
yeah,
Genge, Stewart? You know, they're massive names, which should be starting.
yeah,
So that goes to show the strength, what England have got.
yeah.
It's probably the best England squad they've had. Probably better than the 2003 World Cup
That's right.
squad.
Yeah.
Really?
Unbelievable players.
Mm.
Yeah.
And we could, you know, so we can emulate that, but we don't want to. We want to always carry that extra back reserve. And I don't understand why, when we're supposed to have these players that can play across the back line. They can play multiple positions. And at the end of the day, I've said it, if we got really in the shit, you could put Artie in the midfield, or you could put him on the wing.
Yeah.
And he'd do a good job.
And he'd do a good job of it, wouldn't he? So it's like, righto. So we don't seem to want to be able to, is it like we're feeling like, they're getting it wrong, like South Africa are getting it wrong when they do it, England are getting it wrong when they do it. Scotland did the same thing.
When you look at the All Blacks, if you're sitting down and you're looking at the stat sheet, they had territory and possession in their favour, dominated the line-out, led in post-contact metres, only conceded 6 penalties, half of what England conceded, missed less tackles. Like, where did we lose the game? Like, what did we get dominated in? Because we got dominated on the scoreboard, but where was the bit that was missing?
Stats don't always win games, do they?
Exactly.
You know, there's, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Everybody says stats should win you games, but no way.
But we get to games where we have lost, and we're like, oh, our discipline, we lost too many, we conceded too many penalties, or we missed too many tackles, or these are basics of the game, or we lost a set piece. We lost a scrum, but we didn't actually lose anything.
When you boil down a game of rugby over 80 minutes, you might not have the most amount of possession. You might have had to make twice the amount of tackles. Territory you might have struggled with, but really good sides will take their opportunities better. There'll be multiple opportunities in rugby games, and good teams maximise those opportunities. And I just don't feel that the All Blacks are doing that at the moment. And they could be because of errors like missing touch, or they could be just an inability to finish off pressure and momentum by accumulating points. Look at England. They accumulated points through all means, drop kicks, like they're returning pressure into points, and just don't feel that the All Blacks, even if they're dominating statistically, which they quite clearly did, are maximising their chances against really good sides like South Africa. When they're on form, you got to bank every point. You know, bank everything that you are doing that's putting them under pressure and making them struggle, turn them into points.
And okay, so to do that, does that come down to combinations, or does that come down to the coach's preparation? How do you get to a situation in a team where everything's clicking, everyone's on the same page, and are we saying that New Zealand's not on the same page?
Well, I think they were. I think they were 12-0 up. So what happened from then, being 12-0 up to where it was 12-11, and then England sort of like went away from the game, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Leadership, would you reckon, or not?
Look, I think there's enough leaders out there when you look through that side. You know, if you look at the front row, for example, of like De Groot and Cody Taylor and Fletcher Newell, they've played a shitload of test matches. You know, Scott Barrett's no spring chicken anymore. You know, he's the captain. Yeah, Artie, how many? He has 100 test matches there. Beauden Barrett, 100 test matches. Cody Taylor, 100 test matches. You know, there's plenty there. You know, I know Roygaard's quite green, but he's quite mature. Like, losing him was massive.
Yeah.
He was real clever in the way that he was playing. His kicking strategy was good, and he was challenging ruck defender. So losing him wasn't ideal. But again, I know that's not experience, but he's in good form.
Yeah, he's one of our best players, if not our best player at the moment. Isn't he?
Yeah. But I guess if you were looking at Will Jordan apart, if you were looking at the back line, there's not a lot of experience there. You know, like from Quintu Paia, Lester Fainganuku, Billy Proctor, Leroy Carter, there's not a lot of test experience there. I would imagine none of those guys have probably even played at Twickenham before. Of those guys I just named.
Yeah.
So there is probably a lack of leadership in that regard in the back line. And maybe that's where we're not maximising those opportunities that I'm talking about, you know, those little things that they massively affect the game. For example, and this is not picking on somebody, might sound like it, but you know, the Leroy Carter, he misses what's his name? Help me
Lawrence.
out. Ollie Lawrence, thank you. That's huge because that's a try.
Yeah.
You know, he makes that tackle and he sticks on that tackle.
Was that when Dingwell went straight through? Was it the tip when?
No,
No, it was before that.
Before that,
yeah. It was just a one-on-one. Leroy Carter came up. He got his body in the wrong position and just got bumped off.
It's the first time I've seen Leroy Carter look too small. It's the first time I've thought, oh, maybe he's too small for this.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he's called Little Bumper for a reason. He puts hits on all over the place.
I think he's pretty. I think he didn't look out of place physically. But that's just one example, you know. The one that you mentioned is another one where, you know, the inexperience, they just got it wrong. You know, there was plenty of numbers there, and Quintu Paia bit in at the ball carrier and left the hole there. And two players, So, you know, those little things, you know, guys haven't maybe played a shitload of test rugby or haven't read it right or have just slightly switched off because they don't have the maturity of some of the others, like in the forward pack. And England banking points, those points we're talking about, those opportunities.
Powelly, I know you're a Welshman, but you've played in a international side that's beaten the All Blacks, haven't you?
Yeah, but pretty much we had South African, Joe Rocket Coco. Oh, it was unbelievable squad. Schaltberger, Victor Matfield, Joe Rocket Coco, Matt Gitto, Drew Mitchell, Will Genia, and that was probably the best week I've ever had in my life.
For the Barbars.
The Barbars. Yeah. Oh my God.
Who did you room with that week?
So my first room was Quintus, somebody, this Italian second row. He wanted to move out the room. Honestly, he went to Nick, he said to Nick, I cannot share with him anymore. He's just carnage. And then I had Victor Matfield, I think, for a few. He was right. And then Schaltberger was quite good. And mate, it was just the best week ever.
Oh, it is good, isn't it?
So they had me doing a fitness test on a Thursday, but they said, you've been out every night. You need to sort yourselves out. But I was right in the end, yeah. But what a win. I've been beaten by 1 point.
What year was that?
2010.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
09, 10 it was,
Yeah. I think the All Blacks were number one in the world then.
Yeah, that's a great week, isn't it, the Barbars?
Oh.
Yeah. £5,000 and £50 notes. And I come back with 150 quid in my back pocket.
Don't worry, mate. You're not alone in that. It's not a week where you bank the money, is it?
Oh no, you have to enjoy it.
Oh, and you know, so yeah, for people out there who don't recognise the fact that you get into that Barbarians outfit and at the start of the week you get a nice envelope, which is, you know, it's a professional game. So you get paid.
Just perks you up a little bit, doesn't it? Makes you happier, doesn't it?
And, and away you go for the week. But it's such a sociable week. You don't put any of that money in the bank.
Oh my gosh!
Sometimes you play better.
I remember the last Barbars game I played, and Xavier Rush. I was rooting with him. Yeah,
good boy, Rushy.
He is, isn't he? And we were out the night before till I think it was 2 a.m. We were playing England the next day at Twickenham at 2:30. We both sort of rolled over about sort of 10:30, 11 in the morning, hanging. And I looked at him and I thought, shit, mate, you look average. And he looked at me and thought the same thing. I said, mate, I can't do this today. Can't do it. He said, me neither. Nah, we're no good. Wandered down to breakfast. Everyone's looking the same. Heads are down, glum. Thinking that you've got to go to Twickenham and play England. They've been training all week. They're fired up. And we won.
You won?
We won, mate.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just, it's just that camaraderie, isn't it? You've had a week on the piss with each other. Everybody knows that everybody's been out and enjoying themselves, and you just front because of that.
You do front up, but then times you do it and you just think, what have I done? And you have a shocker.
Yeah.
But no, it was good fun.
It is time now for this week's Harvey Norman Next Gen Moment of the Week. Whether you're after Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer, or Asus, Harvey Norman's got the latest AI PCs, all powered by Snapdragon. And this week, we're talking high performance, aren't we, Marshy?
We certainly are. Yep. The Harvey Norman high performance for me player of the weekend was George Ford.
Oh,
He just clutched up big time. He probably wouldn't say this would have had a few demons from what happened last time he came on off the bench for the against the All Blacks and missed a penalty kick and a drop goal. But at the weekend he just showed maturity. His performance levels were incredible. His accuracy. I loved the way that he was playing flat to the line, challenging the All Blacks with his running game early, and then sitting back and showing real composure with his 2 drop kicks. When England were chasing the game a bit because the All Blacks got out of the gate really well. So George Ford stepping up, hit 50 22s. His kicking strategy was brilliant and his accuracy was amazing. And like I said, when they needed him to accumulate points, he did it in a manner that was just so composed, and his performance levels were out the gate.
that's high performance, just like Snapdragon powered PCs, delivering peak performance and multi-day battery life. With next-gen AI PCs, you don't have to choose between power and longevity. You get both. Head into your local Harvey Norman and see what real high performance looks like. Do you think England are the team that's up there potentially, if there was going to be a team that was up there potentially with the Springboks?
Obviously, many were saying post the game. So this is post the game, not pre-game. Good old English supporters that they are, were saying to me as I was leaving the stadium, we should be playing the Springboks. Because and
what were the All Blacks doing here?
Exactly, what are the All Blacks doing here? We've already been them. But I was thinking, were you thinking back to back? The All Blacks and the Springboks would have been something that you're capable of achieving in terms of So, but now I guess after that performance, it is worthy of a conversation. How Springboks deep into their season, England on a real high. That would have been a cracking game, wouldn't it?
I think it would have, yeah. I think, you just look at the players England have got now. The strength in depth. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Be a good game to watch, if it was.
I think I was actually quite, and I'm going to, obviously got another few days in London, so I've got to be careful here, but I don't want to get, shoved in the street or abused. But
Wouldn't be the first time.
No, it wouldn't be. What I wasn't happy with the English crowd, because this is double pronged what I'm about to say, was them singing Swing Low while the All Blacks were doing the haka.
You're not happy about that?
No. I just don't feel that it's respectful, and I feel that it actually negated England's response to the haka, which I thought was awesome. The way they formed, that shape that they did, they advanced forward and actually respected and not challenged, but responded to the haka in their manner. But the reverberations of Swing Low being sung around the stadium, you couldn't hear the haka. And so I felt that England's response was basically affected by the crowd. And they're not, what do they think they're doing? They're not affecting the All Blacks.
No.
All they're doing is ruining the people that actually want to see the haka, England's response, for the first time and have gone to a stadium, know what it's about.
That's the point. That's the point, Marshy, because I was with an English mate, Dan, who you had some beers with the other night, and he was complaining. He's English. He was there to watch England win, and he was also there to watch the haka, and he was fuming because you have some guys like singing over the haka all around you, but and even like, it might sound cool on TV or whatever when you're in your pub and you hear the whole singing, but the reality is when you're there, you have some dickhead about 2 seats down, like who can't sing, bleating out Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and that's what you hear.
And I think it just needs to be verbalised, because I've watched the All Blacks, basically forever. It's the only stadium. Only stadium in the world where people do that, sing over the haka, or make noise or jeer or boo. No other stadium in the world do it. So everybody else, Murrayfield, whether it's in South Africa, whether it's in Australia, when the haka is being performed, the crowd are invested. They're not.
That's the way it should be, though. I used to love, as a kid, watching haka. And I can remember in 08, we had that standoff against New Zealand.
Oh, how good was that?
And it was brilliant.
Tell us what happened
and in
there.
the end, your legs are like proper, oh my God, like jelly.
Yeah.
And Shanks is trying to be all tough. And his legs are just quivering like this. But that was the best one, I think, that's ever been, I've witnessed anyway.
That was incredible response.
Yeah. Tell us about the lead up to that. Like, whose decision was it to do the standoff?
Well, Gats just said, get out there in a line, just stand up to him, and they have to retreat. And the ref comes up to Ryan Jones, you have to go back. He says, no, it's our patch. They have to go back, and fair dues. There was no problem. But it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the fans are loving it. And But they didn't sing over it. They just wanted.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't sing over. And the I was there. And what was great was when the standoff was happening, you could feel the crowd, like
the energy.
The energy.
Yeah, I know.
In the stadium, it's like, who's going to budge first here?
I was buzzing. It was just one of the best experiences I've ever had.
It was, yeah. And it was a long time as well.
It's like 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, and the crowd, they were in it, and that's what it's all about, And I just thought the way England responded, that fired the All Blacks up. The All Blacks have never advanced on Kapa o Ponga that far.
Yeah, that was cool.
So they came, England came, and the All Blacks came, and that was the closest those two teams have ever been to each other. And the crowd were busy singing "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," and the energy, the vibe, and the sting out of the two teams being confrontational like that was lost.
You don't actually
appreciate it.
Yeah, you've got a chance to hear, not just see what's going on out there, but you would have been able to hear what's going on out there.
Yeah.
But instead, you've got Rupert on one side and Archie and Sebastian fucking in front of you singing "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot" completely out of tune.
I just quickly want to add though, so that to me, I just feel it's wrong. But I do have to say that throughout the rest of the game, the crowd were incredibly respectful. They were invested in the game. And equally afterwards.
After the game, they were great.
They were great.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting that, to be fair. I was expecting to have my face rubbed right in it big time.
Going out to the Guinness tent, I was like, oh,
here we go.
No, someone give me a pint quick.
But they were brilliant. So,
they were amazing.
It's not it's not for the entirety of the game. I just feel that was a shame what happened for the haka. But the rest of the afternoon and post-game is probably the most humble and respectful I've seen the English supporters be, in terms of they literally gave us a bit of a thumping in the finish, but they were very humble and, really respectful of the All Blacks and appreciated that they'd had a win. But yeah, it was good.
Well, let's find out what is going on with the Australian team, the Wallabies, and what the hell went on in Dublin. We are joined now by Wallabies winner, Jeremy Paul. How are you, buddy?
I see you're still shit-house with your introductions, Andy. Mate, Marshy spoke about this, mate.
Do you not want to be called a winner anymore?
Mate, hold on, mate. Marshy spoke about this. We just don't want to be, not just a winner. What about Wallaby legend, World Cup winner? Mate, Marshy spoke to you about this. Mate, get your shit together, Andy. Mate, this is just, we're not accepting
I never called
this.
you a legend, JP. I never, ever called you a legend. Not once. You've said that.
Yeah, no, I've said that many times about myself. No, you're right. Anyway.
Dublin.
Yeah, what do we talk? Do we have to? Oh, my goodness. Another poor start, right? 2 tries, 14-0 in 10 minutes was just... I was just thinking, there's another poor start. Each week, Joe must get up in front of the team because I know, boys, you must have had many coaches where you've just okay, boys, we're going to start fast. We're going to start fast. We're going to start fast. And they've just had so many games this year where they've let in points, and then we get our first opportunity in the 13th minute. Line out in the 22 And we knew Ireland were going to be very strong in this, right? We saw this in the Chicago game. They, decimated the All Blacks. Well, they put a lot of pressure on the All Blacks line out, which really stopped their momentum. And 13th minute, here we are, bang, lose the line out. 14-0, thinking maybe points. Same again in the 35th and 36th minute. We had another couple of lineouts in their red zone. I think we were 19-7 at that point. Again, points. Do we consolidate, take some points, and try to build momentum back again? We kick for the corner. We lose another 2 more lineouts. We did it again, I think, in the 65th minute as well. Remember that one where Rabs kicked it for the corner? Mate, I'm sure his bum was so tight, man, when it was like, it was almost going dead, right? Like, you know, when you kick it, and he was like, it had that late fade. It was so good how it stayed in 5 meters out, and then we lost it. So, you know, we couldn't build any momentum. Look, Ireland were incredibly hard on our set piece, particularly in the red zone. And look, we had opportunity. Look at Len Nikitau's try in the 17th minute. Wonderful build-up. We had runners getting over the advantage line. Our connection to the ball carrier was excellent because they were making space and making it far easier for our clean out. Guys were being busy. It was a very good team try, and I was thinking, okay, here we go. We're back into this, 14-7. And then, I think this summed up Ireland's performance in the 25th minute. For me, this was the whole game, right? Like, Ireland exited easy. They did it all game. Gibson Park, box kick. Then I think Michael Hooper threw out some crazy stat during the game. 13 kicks, 13 regathers in the game. I mean, their aerial contests, they were just extraordinary, the Irish. Every time they kicked the ball, they got it back. And so this happened, I think it was just before halfway. Gibson Park picks up the ball, does a 50-20, 22-metre Ireland line out. I think about a minute and a half later, Mac Hansen scores his 3rd try. So we had opportunity. We had opportunity. We go down 19-7 and still, we create opportunities where Harry Potter makes a break, I think, in the 17th minute. Dungunu down the sideline in the 23rd minute. Opportunity was there. And did anyone see that, James Lowe smack in the face, very similar to that Italian back rower being Simband when he accidentally hit Quagga Smith's eyebrow hair, when it just faintly touched, and then we saw James Lowe smacked Potter. Potter's nose is pissing out with blood, and it was just a penalty. So I'm sure, Marshy, you're going to tell me about. We're gonna dive deep into the inconsistencies of the TMO, especially Cody Taylor. No, but anyway, we're not touching it.
I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of that conversation. Yep. I'm sick of reading about it. I'm sick of rugby being overtaken by TMO shit chat.
Oh,
it's chat, but it's they're just shit.
I actually really applauded that decision from Carl Dixon. I thought he got it bang on. He saw it for what it was.
You were talking about a specific decision. Yeah, I'm just talking about it.
Yeah, I know. It was real clumsy, but
the James Lowe one. I agree with you. Yeah, 100%.
And just a penalty. I was just thank God someone's seen it for what it is. Potter's nose was already busted, so it just it was a complete accident, and I thought he officiated it brilliantly, and that's what we need in the game, more of that. The guy just seeing it for what it was, So I was happy with it. What I am impressed with, Rain Man, is honestly, you can just get a real appreciation for why you are Rain Man, because you're just throwing it in the 14th minute and the 17th minute. I think around about the 23rd. Those numbers obviously just come to you, it's entrenched in there. I bet you haven't gotten them written down, all those minutes, but that's you're like a little mini calculator there of all these times.
Mate, my eyelids were getting so heavy then.
So very impressive. What I want to say to you though was, mate, after the Italian performance, where there was discipline problems, I thought their discipline again was poor, but equally, I predicted Australia to win this game because I thought, mate, they would have been the training week. They would have been eating nails. They would have been so pissed off with being beaten, and they came out and their accuracy was terrible. Like you mentioned, in the air, couldn't control anything in the air. The amount of times the ball went to ground, they got really flustered by Ireland's defence. They must have known that was coming, but just couldn't get any real rhythm going. And I was really surprised that was the response, that type of performance. Yeah, it was always going to be a tough ask, but I just wasn't happy with the way that I felt Australia could have played that game, and they just kind of went missing, which was unusual.
Yeah, look, the effort's there though, Marshy. Look, that's.
Oh, I
like,
question the effort.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. But I mean, you
But
need.
you got to be on, mate. You got to be on against a team like that in Dublin.
Look, 100%. But you can't be on unless you have effort. Effort first, right? And so when you look at the halftime, right, going into it night, because Fraser McWright scored in the 40th minute. Right, so we here is arguably one of the worst in the 40th. I think it was 40 minutes and 36 seconds, but I'm not going to don't quote me on the 36 seconds. But look, when he scored, and I was like halftime, I was thinking 19-14. I'm thinking they had no right to be in this game. Like exactly what you said. It was clumsy. It was ill-disciplined. At times they looked shocked. Again, poor start like that, because again, mate, you know when you just hammer in during the week to each, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and I'm sure out of all the games they've done this year, quick start, we got to start better, and I feel like that's almost like mentally draining for this side as well, and it's a young team, mate. Our best player, our most expensive player too, at 1.6 million a year, is 21. Like it's like again, and that's no excuse. Look, it's no excuse. But how I sort of see it is they're making like little deposits into the bank, right? Like where they're going to be able to hopefully withdraw this, like this experience as well as this. They don't have the resilience. They don't have the motor yet in terms of that week in, week out top level footy. Like you've got to build that motor, mate, and you've got to build that resilience. And look, this tour, if anything, is going to be great for the depth, because Joe's been saying this the whole time. Look, and I get it. We're questioning. Everyone's starting to go, well, mate, you've got this player here. Why isn't Rabs in, or what? Mate, he's 100% spot on. We don't have the depth. Like we just basically do not. And mate, looking at New Zealand too, right? Like when we take a few players out, questionably their depth as well. France, look at their depth. Take a few players out, they got beaten by the Boks. The Boks really are the only side who could probably roll out two teams and be in the top 10 in the world. Like they're the only side in the world when you start to really get down to the depths of like losing a couple of key players in key positions, then they're the only side that can roll out, pretty much have like 10 changes and still beat. We saw, right, with the All Blacks. Like, it's just nuts how they can do it. So, again, yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Marshy. It's been disappointing, too, for the fans, I think, because we built up such momentum, right, sold-out stadiums in Australia, and I just feel, the fight, too. Look, at the end of the day, if things don't go well, like, mate, it's not your day. You got to go back onto the training field and work hard to obviously rectify those little skill acquisitions, but don't give up. Like, I'm not saying they gave up, but you can't let score lines blow out like that, because you will lose fans. Like, and I'm sure they're going to be hurting like because of that. I don't feel the score reflected how close the game was, but they also allowed that to happen, didn't they? Like it's not that they gave up. It just seemed like it's just too hard in the end. And look, to Ireland's credit, man, they were awesome. Like they in the aerial, like haven't we been saying this for a while now, boys? Like, mate, those new law changes that allow that player to attack the ball, mate. If you don't have which surprises me in Australia, right? We got AFL. Like we should have the best jumpers in the air.
What do you make of Aussie's performance the last couple of weeks?
Well,
Powelly was on the piss, mate.
no, I'm not honest. No, I think you look back at the Lions and all of that. I thought Australia did really well, but it's funny, game rugby and that. Losing to Italy wasn't good, was it, for Australia? And now this in the weekend, but when you lose a few players, key players, it doesn't help, does it?
It just dawned on me that we've got a podcast with potentially three of the best piss drinkers that I've ever had on a podcast. And one of the best piss drinking stories that I've ever heard is Powell's golf buggy story. Could we rip that one out?
Yeah, we could do, yeah. It's probably what's made me famous. Nobody can remember me for the rugby.
I was saying that before the show.
I
was like, Powell,
bad.
I just watched your highlights before the show when I was doing some prep. You weren't a bad player.
I weren't, no. Best thing I've ever done, though. Golf
It's
cart.
hard to find your highlights because when you Google Andy Powell, it's golf buggy story all the way through.
All the times I've been arrested, yeah. yeah. Let's not go there, lads. Yeah, 2010, playing Scotland. I was at number 6, Ryan Jones at 8, Martin Williams at 7.
It's good back row.
We were losing. I got subbed So you don't want to get subbed here, and you think you're not going to be playing the next week, and they give you a protein shake. I thought, I'm not having that. We're not allowed out in Cardiff, probably, if you lose. And Lee Byrne made that break. Was it Tom Evans broke his neck? Patterson ruptured his kidney. Scott went down to 13 men. Wayne Barnes is ref in. Said to Patterson, you have to keep this ball in the field to play. 32 phases later, the smallest guy to ever play rugby wasn't good enough. Shane Williams scored that try. Well, I jumped off the bench like we just won a World Cup, and I said, boys, we are fucking out tonight. And we did great. You've probably seen that picture in Walkabout. I had a sleeve missing, trouser leg missing, and I'm with all the fans, just with a load of ice bucket of piss, and I'm just like this. And we go back to the Vale, and you know what it's like. You get back in the beers with the fans. I was outside, I'm a little fag. Gats comes out to have a fag. Me and Shane were smoking, and I ran out of fags. So I thought, right, let's get down to the service station. And Gats goes, take the car. I said, there's no way I'm taking the car. So I went to get a golf gun from concierge, get the key. And the guy goes, every single bit of that conversation, there is no way you're having a golf cart. But the night before, I was sharing a room with James Hook, and the bulb had gone in the shower. So I went back to concierge, and no, let me get this right. So there was a different guy. So I went back to get a key to take my luggage back. So I thought, fuck it. No, I go to the room, got this flathead screwdriver, shoved it in, and made my 45-minute journey going down the M4 with a bottle of red wine. Mate, but I was on Tramadol as well at the time, so I had mixed effects. And then it was just carnage. And then I went up this ramp to get on the forecourt to get the fuel in, and it started to go...
Fuel?
Yeah, it was run out of fuel. I thought it was...
Can't battery?
No, I thought it was fuel. So I pulled the lid up, and there was this aluminium plaques in this vehicle, is battery propelled, so I didn't know where the fuel was going. And then I got arrested, taken back to the cell, and the sergeant goes to me, do you mind waiting up an extra 45 minutes? I said, not really, I need to get my head done, I'm knackered. He goes, most of the cops have gone to get balls and shirts for you to sign. So they locked my mate up. I was having a few cheekies, cups of coffee around the back with the coppers, signed all these balls. He said, you have to go in the cell now. And then, I got banned for 4 games, and that's what made me famous. If I had a few more beers now, it would have been better when I was telling it.
Mate, what was it like driving a golf cart on the M4, though?
Mate,
Well, I guess there wasn't much traffic around, but...
Mate, there was lorries going... Mate, I did put a cone on top of the golf cart roof, but I didn't want to get twatted by a lorry or a bus.
Or a road cone.
Yeah, with a light on. And the lorries are going past, going boop, boop, and I'm going back to them, weep, weep, just living life. Things you do. Right. I mean, I got like my eldest now goes, Dad, were you the one who took the golf cart? I said, no, it's my brother. He goes, you haven't got a brother, you twat. But, hey, things you do, lads. Hey, great times.
Well, we never got caught, Andy, because we retired before camera phones and social media came out. So it wasn't just the greatest era because we won everything. It was also because there was no social media or camera phones. So we never got caught.
It's a killer to society.
Mate, there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there that I ever got caught with. So perfect.
JP, back to this current Wallaby side. Are you Joe Schmidt? Is it his last game in charge against France? Is he? He's
yes.
Not, yeah. So how do you look at his tenure in charge? Are we still seeing progression? Have we seen progression? How would you kind of summarise his impact on the Wallabies?
Oh, look, his impact has been instrumental. Like I'll put him down as like one of the most instrumental coaches we've had in decades, like if not ever. Like, to be honest, where we were. Look, start of the year we were $60 million in debt, and we have now managed to turn that around and be 50 million in the black. We had sold out stadiums this season. We started to bring fans back to the game, and look, I get it. Look, fans are, because we've copped a lot, guys, in the last 2 decades. Like, wow, it's been tough to be a Wallaby fan, and we probably epitomise the word optimistic. Like, we are just forever the eternal hopeless romantics of one day our Wallabies will win the World Cup, like we'll be back. And I mean, I think it's the Australian culture too, but we are also the only Australian national side, right? Like that is an international competition, third largest sporting event in the world behind the Olympics and the Soccer World Cup. So, you know, the Wallabies, if the Wallabies are doing well, the game is doing incredibly well in Australia. That's the key for us. And Joe Schmidt has started that process and put this side. I think you can only ever measure someone's tender when they leave the place better than when they came in. And Joe is leaving like this Wallaby side as well as the organisation as a whole a million times better than when he walked in. So we couldn't be more thankful for Joe.
JP, I read some interesting news articles that are ripping into Joe Schmidt, and you know if they lose against France, I think it's a 33% win rate for the whole season, and that's your worst season ever. Like that kind of rhetoric is coming out, and that's in an Australian newspaper. And as you mentioned, like the fans, they're very optimistic and they stick with them. I'm a fan of the Wallabies. Like I want the Wallabies to win, but what would your message be like to fans to stick with the Wallabies? Because it's hard to see progression when you have 5 from 15 in a year. But like if I was a fan, like why would I stick with them?
Well, because we have progressed. Like, okay, take the very first game last year in the Rugby Championship against the Springboks at Suncorp Stadium when we lost 33-7, I think, or 33-5. And we didn't score a try until the 78th minute. Now, we were never in that game. Like South Africa actually, like they literally were in gear 2 or gear 3. Like they hadn't even dropped down to where we've seen them now recently into gears 4 and 5. Like we were never in that game. And where we're now progressing, even on the weekend at halftime when we came off, we were in a game against the number 3 side in the world. Like a side that is like we had no right to be. And I think that's where people are like not getting or not understanding like the difference between results. I said this over a year ago. I've never been, I'm not concerned about the result. It's the process. Now, if we were never in this game or even on this tour, look, the Italy loss, like that was, but it just shows, right? Rassi spoke about how tough was Italy. Now, we don't know if that was a bit of tongue in cheek, but like obviously didn't think he was going to get a second red card in a row too. But that they were a tough side, but we should never have lost to them. These results are hurting the Wallaby fabric as well as obviously what Joe has built. But I just say to Wallaby fans, the progression is there. Like the players are there. I believe once we can form wonderful relationships with clubs overseas, we have to nail that process down. That is the key, I believe, to the Wallaby success in the 2027 Rugby World Cup is our aligned partnerships with clubs, with our overseas players, and how we can release them and when they can and can't be released. That's
like
key
the
for me.
Springboks.
Yeah, like the Springboks. Look, and also that they come back in better in just as good a condition. I believe that's probably more about the culture of the jersey too, right? Like in the player themselves. But I believe with Big Marky Mark, right, Nazar Tawasi coming back from rugby league, there's a bit of something about the Wallaby jersey as well as the World Cup, and that we're a chance. There's been a lot spoken about this R360 competition as well, and people from rugby league going over. It's huge over here in Australia at the moment, particularly with NRL players. So there's a lot more conversations about the Wallabies. Yes, again, it's not great. These results aren't great. They're never great losing. It's never great losing, but you have to look at the progression, and we are far more progressed than where we were literally 14, 15 months ago at Suncorp Stadium in round 1 in the Rugby Championship.
JP, you're a legend, mate. Thanks very much.
There it is. The legend.
Mate, hey
Not
Marshy, mate, I just want to ask, like, so who's going to be the next coach of the ABs? Because obviously now, like... Mate, is this just the word? Like, is this just the shittiest situation for Paul Razor, mate? I love Razor.
Yeah.
I think you guys have the greatest, like, such an amazing coach. And oh my god, how tough is it to be an All Black coach? I just, sorry, mate, I had to hear from you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, mate. the good thing is he's got a contract till 2027, so that's a
Oh,
positive. But
Thank God.
yeah,
Thank God.
mate, it's just like what we're talking about with Joe. The first person after, the captain, really the responsibility lies on is the coach, and that's why Joe's copping it because of the Wallabies' back-to-back losses, and now obviously no All Black really enjoys losing at Twickenham against England. So
Oh, the best
Razor
team in
will
the
be getting a
world.
spray too. It's coming home, mate.
It's
coming home.
It's coming.
Just
home.
quickly before you go, JP, because you've obviously got an opinion on how much heat Razor's getting and whether that's right or wrong.
Oh, look, I don't think it's right at all. Like, I think Razor's the best coach. Like, do you know what? I loved Ronda Rousey's comment to Joe Rogan, right? Like, she turned around and she said, he's just a fan with an audience and he's no expert. And what I loved with Joe Rogan's response was, you know what? I love and respect Ronda Rousey so much. She has this winning mentality, right? Championship mentality. I didn't play. I'm no expert. I get it. Like, I get it. Like, and all these so-called experts that are saying, like, Razor should be, like, gone instantly. Mate, they're just fans. That's all they are. So, mate, you've got to back this guy. I think he's I think he's an incredible coach. And mate, the big thing is Bodie Barrett personally being subbed at 54th minute. But hey, you guys can discuss that. I'll just leave that there and I'll catch you later.
It was a quarter.
It's in cyberspace.
See you later, JP. You're a
Catch
legend,
you, boys.
Cheers,
Up the
JP.
Wallabies.
Well, pretty much a second string Springbok side rolled out and
Wow.
with 14 players and pumped. They got past Italy, didn't they? Andre Pollard still putting his hand up.
Yeah, he's quality, mate. And it's
Absolutely.
really hard to kind of say that it's a second string side because they utilise so much, those guys. Like Rusty has this ability to tap into that depth, but yet functionally they just keep on ticking away quite nicely. When you take off a talent like Ngoma Zulu and replace him with Andre Pollard, World Cup winner, clutch, Iceman, like that's just the depth that they've got. And they've got it across the board. And then obviously adversity again, another mandatory red card.
What do you
But
think
then,
the chances are that
like,
Rusty
honestly,
comes out on Monday and names a 14-man starting lineup?
Yeah, he probably could, mate. He probably could. Like, honestly, and then what I loved about it though was it was like a tube stop, at Covent Garden or whatever it might be here, and which is I come out of that tube stop. And there's like people coming and going from everywhere. You're like, holy moly.
Yeah.
That's what was happening with the bench for the Springboks. There was props coming off and the guys going onto the loose forwards, and then Estazen's coming on, and Rusty's just snowballing this, like, how am I going to macro manage the rest of this game? And then, Estazen's playing in the midfield and on the side of the scrum. And
He's playing well, isn't he?
yeah, he is,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Beefed up to 120 kilos.
Yeah. But their ability to just soldier on and push through shit like that, 2 weeks on the bounce, they've had to do that.
Yeah.
So I'd question whether or not it's when he names a side, it's a second string side. It's just him naming a side to do the job on the day.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, it's not very nice to say second string side, but it's not there. It's not his like he's going into a World Cup final tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's not the side he's naming.
No, the same when he named the side to play France, I thought that's the best side he can name.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, barring, I don't think they really had any injuries. That if he's putting out a side to win a World Cup final tomorrow, it was that side that started against France,
yeah.
and they managed to win that game with 14 men.
How do you think they'll go against Ireland?
It's potentially a game for them that is more difficult than anything they've faced so far this year, with the greatest respect to the fact that they've obviously played the All Blacks and France. But, they are off the back of quite a long season.
Yeah.
And difficult challenges in the last 2 weeks.
But they have had a long season. But as we're just talking about, the beauty of their depth is like they're only playing half the games as individuals.
So they're going to be fresh.
Yeah. They're still quite fresh, aren't they, to be fair? And obviously, they've got this same situation that the All Blacks were in, where this is hard to say, particularly given that I've got this man sitting beside me, and equally, I do have a Welsh daughter, so.
Do you? Didn't know that.
I do. But, the All Blacks just had to get through England, and they've got the Grand Slam, and South Africa have got to get through Ireland, and with Wales having 9, I think, or 10 of their best players having to go back to play for their premiership clubs. This is a Welsh team struggling, let alone have that situation.
Yeah.
You would think that's just a lay down misère for Springboks. So it's that one where I guess they can just focus on Ireland and then take care of Wales. I know that sounds bad, but it's just reality at the moment, unfortunately, isn't it?
It could be 40, 50 points in the weekend, couldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I guess at the weekend with the All Blacks, at least Wales are full strength as much as they can be.
Yeah.
But against the Springboks, when you take 10, your Reece Sammets and all that out of the equation because of them playing outside of the international window, golly, like
they're not even. Those guys can't play.
No, they can't play. Their top 10 players will be going back to play premiership, back to their clubs. So
I know.
No,
I know. So like in a sort of convoluted way, I've come back to your question, which is it's going to be a tough one, but even off the back of tiredness or a long season or whatever it might be, and everything, and Ireland being the way they are, the Springboks just have to target this one because the Welsh one looming is not a daunting challenge for them.
What are your memories of playing the Springboks? 'Cause you had some good battles with them, didn't you? And you were quite a physical player. Like, you would have been right in the mix of those, like, the hardy stuff that you imagine Springbok battles to be.
Well, I didn't get my cap till 2008, so I was 28 years of age, and all coaches said he's not coachable. And then Warren Gatland came along, and
not coachable.
And so I used to say to the coaches, "You must be the shittest coaches in the world if you can't, And Gatland came along and goes, "I heard you a bit of a nightmare," and just picked me against the Springboks, world champions in the Millennium Stadium, and man of the match, first cap. I don't know, sounding big-headed, but I was on fire.
Yeah.
Just everything just went
Say
right.
it.
And
Say
then you
it.
got the likes of Bakkies Botha, and that didn't fear me. And I can remember hitting him off the ball once, and I went down and I said, "Get the fuck up."
To Bakkies.
They were the worst words I've ever said to that man in my life. I was shitting myself all game. And when you get interviewed at the end of the game, Sonia Loughlin came up to me and she put the medal around my neck and said, "What a great game." And I looked to the right hand side, he was there, just walking. I went even closer to Sonia Loughlin, like touching her. And an absolute animal. But I get on with the Saffers. I used to love that physicality, that challenge.
Yeah.
But New Zealand I used to struggle against. But I don't know what it was. Where you think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, why do have the Welsh struggled? Why is it that some teams do struggle against the All Blacks? Like,
We've always struggled against All Blacks.
Is it a mental
We've had
thing?
confidence playing South Africa's first game, and then you go and play New Zealand the second game, you think, right, we're not going to win it, but we could run them close.
Do you ever talk about the history in the week? Obviously now it's about 72 years, I think it is, since Wales beat the All Blacks. So is that part of the focus for the week? Is it mentioned, or you just approach it like a normal test week?
I think it's probably the most special game for Wales to play as the All Blacks. I think the whole town is talking about it. Yeah. It's always been special, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the Welsh and the Kiwis get on so well.
Yeah.
And
do you think like the Welsh kind of hold, the Welsh friends that I've got always look at the All Blacks and almost like their team as well. It's almost like you hold the All Blacks up there as an amazing, like that you look up to the All Blacks as well as the Welsh team, right?
Yeah, you would. Yeah, I'd probably say that, yeah. And I don't, this doesn't want to sound bad, but I think there's too much respect sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think Wales, because we've always come second best, it's, maybe that.
Yeah. I love wandering around the town or wherever you are, like whether it's Cardiff or Swansea or Llanelli, wherever it might be that you're wandering around, and people sort of recognise you in the street or whatever, and how's it going? Great to have the All Blacks in town. Yeah. And they go, remember when we beat you back in? I'm like,
was it 1963 or something?
Yeah, I know.
But no, but they're going to want to remind you though. Yeah. Remember when we beat you, 70 years ago? Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Oh, what a great day that was. Ooh, loved it. It's probably the most excited the Welsh ever get, that they really get, is when the All Blacks are in town, second only to Beaujolais Day.
Yeah.
How excited do the Welsh get about Beaujolais Day?
What's Beaujolais Day?
It's like on a Thursday they have it like a wine day, isn't it?
Yeah. It's about like a celebration of wine, red wine being made in France, some sort of thing. I don't want to.
So not very, very.
I can't delve into it
just
really
get out
deeply.
and get twatted. Really, it's just like a normal Saturday night in Wales. Really.
There's no wine made in Wales, mate. But fuck, they celebrate it. Mate,
It's so good.
Oh my god! If you want to see people steaming by midday, because they start drinking red wine in the
10,
morning.
11 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, and away they go. They celebrate it like no one else
It's coming up, isn't it?
in the world. It's next Thursday. Is this Thursday?
Maybe we should do it. we'll get on the tube and do Powelly Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I couldn't think of anything worse. What would be a good result for Wales this weekend?
Good second loaded question. I'm liking this.
If we go and score three or four tries, 3 tries, and we lose by 20 points, I think that'll be
a massive win.
And that's probably going to come across bad, but I think that'd be a good. That would be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, look, it's not being disrespectful. It's reality of where Wales are at the moment, and injuries to the guys like Jack Morgan just does not help the situation. He's a brilliant player, man. And so you take guys like that out of the mix, and plus a rebuilding under a new coach. Ultimately that puts the All Blacks probably at least a 20-point team better at the moment, because regardless of losing at the weekend, that's just the stage. That's just where they're at in world rugby at the moment. The All Blacks. I think they might be 2 in the world now. They might have dropped after the weekend to the Springboks, but that's you're one or 2, regardless of that, is playing 12 in the world. That's where Wales are, 12 in the world. So that is equivalent to at least 20 points, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not being
more
disrespectful.
No.
It's just where the state of both sides are at the moment.
But we always do well after about 55, 60 minutes. And then 2 or 3 tries in the last 5, 10.
Oh, well, you're in good company at the weekend then, because the All Blacks are doing that as well.
But it's always been the case, that is. We always get into them early on, but then our fitness and skill level doesn't really match where they are.
Marshy, what's a good result for the All Blacks? Final question.
Well, firstly, I'm intrigued as to where Scott Robertson goes this weekend with who he's going to select. They've obviously got some injuries out of the weekend, which was quite clear to everybody. So it'll be a new 9-10 combination, I think, with Roygard and Beauden Barrett both limping off. And it's just about what level of experiment he's prepared to go to. So when I say experimenting, you're looking at, say, will he go to a Ruben Love at 10? Or will he go to what he knows, which is Damien McKenzie at 10, Is he going to give Rieko Ioane basically a game because it's probably his last test as an All Black? Or is he going to, bring in a Sevu Reece again, or I think they've got Caleb Tangitau in the mix, haven't they?
I'd love to see him again.
Yeah. So and
Tangitau's been fire. He started the season so well. I was talking about, and then he got injured, and now he's come back and he's on fire again.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him in the black jersey.
Yeah, exactly. And
imagine him playing outside of, not that they'll be running this out necessarily, but that 1-2 punch midfield
with Tupaia and Whainganuku. Yeah. So that's the most intriguing thing for me. But probably the worst thing that could have happened for Wales is the fact that I guess it would have been tough anyway, because the All Blacks would have been going for Grand Slam against Wales, so they wouldn't have been buttoning off, but they'll be pissed off. So now that
that's dangerous.
Yeah, you've got a wounded animal, that's going to be wanting to respond to what happened here in London. So I would suggest that what Scott Robertson will be after is a clinical, accurate performance, regardless of the changes and the selections that he makes. That's the response he'll want, and if he gets that, and they are ruthless out there, the amount of points is not relevant. It'll be a lot, but I think the performance is what he will be wanting to see, a response in the way that they play.
Powelly, thanks for coming on the show, mate.
Powelly,
Jesus,
awesome,
good to
mate.
see you.
Absolutely awesome.
It's always a pleasure.
That's a legend.
Yeah,
that's a legend.
Exactly.
I mean, you guys want that label, you and JP, but that's a legend right there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know what the good thing is?
What's the good thing?
Is that you actually had the sensibility when we knew Powelly was coming on to have the pod in the morning. Because we're usually on the beers when we're doing our podcast.
That would have been
in the
better.
afternoon. And all I could see is possibility of being in a golf cart around the streets of London at 2 a.m. if Powelly and I are in the piss from mid-afternoon.
We'll make sure we're on the line bikes. Thank you very much for watching or listening wherever you're watching or listening to this. And a massive thank you to our friends at Harvey Norman. They've got a huge range of next-gen AI PCs from the world's top brands, Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. Enjoy your ruggers this weekend.
Oh, there it is.
We're going to have a beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, we can have one or two, can we?